Sean Baker's new film, people are saying it's the best movie of the year and it has a chance of winning that Oscar. Do I think it's going to win Best Picture? Probably not, but it is a pretty damn interesting film. Chase Lehocky here with the Blue Futon reviewing Anora. So what is this movie about? Pretty simple premise. You have a stripper in New York and a Russian son's oligarch. If I put that 20-year-old is like, I want to make you exclusive. I'm going to marry you. And then 2 weeks later, parents come in, the Armenians come in, shenanigans ensues, and they're going to try to get annulled to say the wedding is fake. But she refuses because, I hate to say it, she sees the money and it is what it is. So, did I like this film? I like it. This is a hard one for me, people. This is a very hard one for me because even though there are sprinkles of like greatness in the movie, and I was intrigued by the last 30 minutes of this movie when the parents came into play. To me, it's a 5-star movie. But leading up to that, it's hard for me to say it's a 5-star movie throughout because, my God, I was getting annoyed by some of the characters. I was a little bit uncomfortable with like the gratuitousness of it, and that's fine. It is what it is. But overall, the package is pretty well given. So we'll talk about the positives of the movie. Like I said, I think the story is an interesting twist on the Cinderella story. I could kind of see that, but I kind of don't. But it is what it is. We'll just shut up there. The acting, pretty good. Even though people are saying it's the main girl, the Mickey Madison, I think her name is. And people are also saying maybe it's the Russian 21-year-old. To me, it's not. It is the one that plays Igor in this movie. He shows up about 45-esque minutes into this movie, and he plays it throughout the whole movie. He is the quiet guy that's always following Annie or Anora around. And I think he is the one that steals the show for, having the grounded emotion of things are supposed to be on screen. The look of the movie, pretty damn good. You get the good New York-esque style of filmmaking, and you get the background of just strip clubs and this rich mansion. And so it's not like a fantastically looking film, but you feel like you're in the vibe. You feel like you're dealing with these people through and throughout. I guess connecting with these characters was kind of hard for me, just because I'm not rich as shit. I never had that kind of thing. I was never into partying. I never drugs. Like, I barely drink. So connecting with these characters and what they do, yes, I've been in a strip club, guilty. And it's kind of funny being in some of those scenes where you're just like, oh yeah, that's almost like strippers. These are real strippers that are in this movie. We're like, oh, take me to the ATM. Take me to the ATM. And I'm just laughing like, yep, they will 100% do that. But like I said, and then maybe it's just me, but the accent and the attitude of people from Boston or the New York, the loudness of it is such a ear-piercing thing in my ear. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And there's a scene in the middle of the movie where that's her thing, is she's supposed to be loud and bombastic and just not shutting up. And it is like, it was an ear noise piercing. I was like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And it was really annoying. And I just think her character, maybe, and that's the whole thing. I'm just not a fan of those people and their attitudes and the boss and things like that. So it was really annoying to me, and it was hard for me to connect with the character because at a point, also that we're supposed to try to connect with her of the struggle she's going through of being taken advantage of. I'm not going to say she was taken advantage of. She knew what she was doing. She knew for a fact when she saw the house, when she saw the money coming at her, she was okay with it. She was okay with it, and then that's why she wanted to stay married, because she saw the money, the rich, and the famous, and she didn't want to go back to her shitty life. And that's understandable. And that's why I kind of laugh with all these somewhat allegations from actors and Trump, where it's like 30 years later, I'm like, look, I hate to say it, dudes are gonna fuck Pamela Anderson or these hot Playboy models to say that they did it. People are going to try to fuck George Clooney or Brad Pitt to say they did it. And then later be like, oh, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. I hate to say it, it's the truth. It is, I fuck Kanye West, I fuck Trump, things like that. So it's just like, it's hard to believe some of these things because that's the same way with this thing. If I saw a girl who's into me from I don't care, Uzbekistan or something, and I go to her house and it's a fucking mansion, and 2 weeks later she's like, I want you to marry me, I'd be like, bet. I, sugar mama, guilty. So I think we need to let those stereotypes of like, oh, how dare you say that? Well, sometimes people are like that and they're willing to do that. There's plenty of videos out there where someone looks homeless and then they pull up with a Lambo and someone changes their attitude just like that. And I kind of get that with this movie as well. So at a point, I know we're supposed to feel sorry for her at the end and things that do occur with her, but nothing in this movie felt, what am I trying to say? Like the stakes were getting higher and higher in this movie, which makes sense because you know for a fact they weren't going to kill her. You know for a fact things were going to be on a level playing field because they can't do that. It ain't no bombastic, oh, we got to kill this girl because she knows too much, things like that. We're going to try to do what we want to do. And I knew for a fact when something happened with New York versus Vegas, like that was my first thing. It's like, you can't do that. It happened in a different state. And once that finally occurred at the very end, I kind of laughed. They talked about it. But it's the very end of this movie where I truly enjoyed it because of, I hate to say this, but she thought that she had to go back to her old ways to this guy. And the guy isn't like that. Like, there's a thing in this movie where she's like, you have rape eyes and you're a rapist. And that really, like, dug me the wrong way of, like, that's pretty fucked up to tell a person. Like, that is truly, like, the most messed up thing you could tell. It's disgusting. But there's something that happens in the end. I think she finally realizes, like, maybe she's hanging out with the wrong people. Maybe she needs to stop looking for these sugar daddies, these 8, 9, 10 guys. Because maybe a 6 or 7 dude or a 5 dude is probably what you need to have a fulfilling and successful life and just have more happiness. Because when people chase those 9s and those 10s and they think they're 9s and 10s, that's where I think this humanity starts going to downsize and or a down cliff and it just blows up because expectation management. I think that's what it was, is expectation management. And I think at the very end, she thought she had to go to her old ways for this one guy, but maybe she doesn't. Maybe she could turn over a new page or a new leaf to be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be a stripper. Maybe I don't need to flaunt my body. And that's the other thing with this movie. To me, like, the sex scenes in this movie, I understand, but at a point, it's like, is this gratuitous? Is this too much? Because I don't need to see her being doggy style again. And then again. And then again. And then again. And then have a, stripper pole dance and then a lap dance. And it's like, at a point, I was like, it's getting a little bit old. Same with this middle of the movie with them trying to find someone. It was like, next place, next place, next place, next place, next place. And at a point, you're also thinking, this is New York traffic. There's no way they're going to get it like this. Anyway, a lot of nitpicks in this movie, from my opinion. I do think this is probably, for the Oscars, a top 10 movie for that reason. Is it in my personal top 10? No, it is not. For me, I'm liking more of these more personal-esque style of movies, or just more bombastic, fun action movies. This is a good movie, though. I think the audiences will enjoy it. But for me, it was a little bit too gratuitous. Maybe I'm just too much of a vanilla person. Fuck it. I'm vanilla like a motherfucker. So Anora will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals that 80%. Let's see what the critics' news scores gave this one. Critics, is Anora. Anora. Critics, a 97% with 237 of them. Audience score 92% with over 250. Critic consensus: another marvelous chronicle of America's strifers by writer-director Sean Baker, given some extra pizzazz by Mikey Madison's brassy performance. Anora is a romantic drama on the bleeding edge. He does these movies about the working class and the different class structures in the world. But a lot of these are 4 out of 5 reviews. There's a couple 5 out of 5s here and there. But I think more people are in that 80% range, just like me. So 80, 92, 97. Chase Lock here, the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of things, Bluetoontopia. You Blue Tony, and thank you for watching. Have a great day. Watch us take tomorrow, week from now, month, or a year for every single freak one of you. And did you like Anora? Because honestly, I own Red Rocket, I own Florida Project, and I still haven't seen them. Guilty as charged.